at that time because nobody's done it before or nobody's done it that way before. Never say never. You just go and do it. So, but in terms of something I wish, before I used to say, oh, I wish I'd started earlier, but I don't think so, because I think the years of experience I had in law and banking have also contributed to the success of the event. So, no regrets, but a lot of lessons.
Amazing. No regrets.
But a lot of lessons.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, and to make sure millennials, people who want to take after you, can confidently also say no regrets, what advice would you give them?
If they want to come into the event planning business.
Yes, please.
The first thing I'd ask anybody who wants to come in is, do you really want to be an event planner? Ask yourself that question. Or is it me too? My best friend is one and she seems to be making pots of money, or she seems to be always in these glamorous events. That's very, very important. You need to be sure. Are you passionate about it? Is it something you will do even if you weren't paid to do it? Sometimes my staff have to restrain me because I'm ready to just do it without, or discounting and all that. But you must be committed, you must be focused, and you must be tenacious, and you mustn't let anybody kill your dream. So while you may have to start small, dream big, but also make sure you have a niche. Decide what is going to be different about me, so you're not just yet another event planner. Make up your mind, what will be special about me? And most important, make sure you're solving a problem. You must be a solution provider.
Yeah,
so whatever problem you can see in the industry now, decide this is the part I want to key into, this is what I'm going to solve. And I think with that, you should be able to do very well.
That's great. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but there's this question that I really want to ask before we leave.
Okay.
I know that you're an author of 4 books
Yes.
on childbearing.
Yes.
It just, while going through, I just thought, okay, what inspired that route, and how has it been received in Nigeria?
Okay.
So
Very quickly, when I got married in '89, I had my son 9 months after in 1990, no problem. It took 9 years before my daughter came. So during that time of delay, I thought, you know what, I would write a book to encourage people, because of course, anybody who's been waiting for anything, and even more especially a child, it can be very devastating every month when it's not the month. And I just thought that I would do this. And I wrote the book, and it was essentially a compilation of my testimony and other people's testimonies. And it was like a book whose time had come. People loved the fact that they could relate to stories. It was about Nigerians like them in situations like them. It encouraged so many people. People would come up to me and say, oh my God, my sister read your book. Oh, she's now pregnant because she's, the biblical, it's a faith book. It's a faith-based book. Oh, she's listened to the biblical principles. She's, stood on the word of God, and amazing. Book 2 came, and next thing I knew, more testimonies. People would now be sending me, oh, my sister had a baby. Oh, my brother's wife. So people would send me their stories, and that's how I wrote 4 books.
wow, on that.
And I'll give you another exclusive. There's a movie coming out soon.
Oh, nice.
Well, you heard it first on Ladies Talking Business.
So wrapping up on a lighter note, right? What does Yewande Zaccheaus do for fun?
Yeah, for fun. If you don't tell me I read,
I
or
write.
I write.
No, nothing
What
like
do you
that.
do
For fun. Do you know what? I love to eat out. I
wow.
love eating. I explore restaurants, different kinds of food. I love movies. I watch only one. I mean, I love drama movies and romantic movies, and most importantly, I love to travel. So COVID has killed that one. But I love going to new countries, experiencing their food, their culture, and I love spas. So I think those are so nothing very academic. Fear not.
Academic,
Real
yes,
fun,
that
real
makes
fun,
sense.
happy things.
That makes sense. Thank you so much. Thank you
It's been a pleasure.
for coming here, for being here. I know that it must have been a huge challenge because of everything going on around.
Yes,
but
yes.
thank you so much
It's
for
been a
making it
pleasure.
down
Thank you
here.
for
And we
having
wish
me.
you all the very best, ma'am. Okay, so we hope you gained something tangible from today's interview with our guest, Yewande Zaccheaus, the pioneer of events management and planning in Nigeria and the CEO of Eventful. From Aneta and I,
It's bye for now.
Thanks for joining us on Plus TV News Brief. I am Osaogie Ogbonwa. Gunshots have been reportedly fired as rival factions of the National Union of Road Transport Workers allegedly clashed in the Obalende area of Lagos State on Thursday morning. The clash, which started around 8 a.m., has led to panic in the area as motorists, passengers and passers-by scampered for safety. One Twitter user at @the_communicator shared a video from the chaos which showed people fleeing the area. The complaint response unit of the Nigerian police force, which responded to the video, said, and of course other policemen are on ground addressing the situation. And the Nigerian army has dismissed reports of killing of 20 soldiers by Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast theater of Operation Lafia Dole. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Mohammed Yerima, said the information was false. Yerima described the report by an online medium titled "Nigerian Army Keeps Mum" as Boko Haram terrorists killed 20 soldiers in Borno as false, fake and baseless. It said the report was aimed at discouraging the public and demoralizing troops in the untiring efforts in the overall fight against the insurgency. According to him, there was no attack where 20 soldiers were killed in the entire theater. Yerima said the recent attacks on troops providing security for road construction workers along the Goniri-Kafa on February 5th and on Gaydam on February 9th were decisively dealt with. And the Senate has condemned the increasing attacks of farmers by headsmen across and around the country. In a heated debate during plenary, the Senate says the time to act is now. Several senators expressed their displeasure, saying the federal government needs to do more.
Right now, we are an endangered species. People are going into homes to abduct, to rape, to do all sorts. Herdsmen are everywhere. We have spoken severally and nothing has been done. Mr. President, posterity beckons because posterity will not forgive us. We are part of the system. We must do something drastic. We must declare insecurity a national emergency so that everybody starts to work on it as we're working on COVID. The figures that are coming out of insecurity are higher than the figures that are coming out of COVID.
The police IG has told us these are criminal elements coming from outside Nigeria. And what we should ask ourselves is, if somebody is a criminal and he is in the forest, what is he doing inside there? And we want to paper over matters of this nature to please whatever. What we want to say is simple. We either want to solve this problem, and in order to solve the problem, the desideratum is that all criminal elements that are coming into this country from wherever they are must be flushed out. Simply sit up.
This country is at the precipice of a civil war or of even falling apart, or of a failed state. So, Mr. President, I rise that the president needs to speak and calm the nation and talk to the nation. I mean, Mr. President, here we are, we're just looking at what has just recently happened in America now. In 1 month, the president has passed over 30 executive orders. The president can pass an executive order banning open grazing, banning the criminality of carrying ammunition, guns and AK-47 when you are going. Enumerate all these herdsmen. There are actions that he can take immediately, but nothing is being done.
I would like to start by saying that perhaps the title or the caption of this motion should have been, instead of general insecurity in Nigeria, should be the menace of Fulani herdsmen in Nigeria. I say so because not quite too long ago, the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence, was reported to have said that out of every 10 kidnappers arrested, 7 or 8 are Fulani. So, Mr. President, we must face this fact. Why is that so? It is because the Fulanis are being encouraged or are being allowed free rein in this country to do whatever they like.
Mr. President, I want to make a special plea that please the screening of the new service chief should be done at plenary. They should come and speak to Nigerians what their intentions are. What are they going to do? It's not going to be business as usual. We need to hear from them. It's not at the committee level or so. They should come and speak to us here.
And the Ogun State Police Command has dismissed claims in some quarters that criminal headsmen allegedly invaded the home of the Nobel laureate Professor Wale Soyinka with heads of cattle in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The State Commissioner of Police, Edward Ajogun, during an on-the-spot assessment of the residents, corroborated the claim by the header, Awal Mumini, that 3 cows indeed strayed into the compound of the erudite scholar. A source through social media had earlier yesterday claimed that an invasion was made into the home of the Nobel laureate when the incident happened. While given an assurance of adequate protection of life and property, the State Commissioner of Police described the alleged invasion as not willful, but a trespass on the part of the header.
Cows are not owned by any Fulani man, but the person in charge of the cow is a young man, a Fulani guy. So only 3 of the cows strayed into the compound. No destruction was carried out on the compound, and the act was not a willful one. 3 out of about 23 cows that the guy was driving at that particular time they were the one that strayed into the premises. So we thank God that nothing was destroyed. And also, I repeat that the cows are owned by Yoruba man. So there's no way a Yoruba man would have willfully invaded the premises of his father, the grandfather. There's no way a Yoruba man would willfully, because it's like a deity. Invade his compound and with cows. So that is not true.
Still in the news, human rights lawyer Femi Falana says the Central Bank of Nigeria cannot appeal the court judgment on freezing the bank account of 20 NSAS campaigners. Falana said his clients would drag the federal government and the CBN to court for trampling on their rights by unlawfully freezing their accounts last October out of sheer intimidation. He also says the Apex Bank must desist from jumping into the political terrain and mind its sole business of banking. However, a federal high court in Abuja on Wednesday ordered the CBN to unfreeze the accounts of 20 NSAS campaigners. A non-governmental organization, the National Association of Sea Dogs, NAS, says it is concerned about the abuse of human rights and bureaucratic corruption within various institutions in Nigeria. To this end, it is calling for more public participation as well as collaboration between government and the people.
The National Association of Sea Dogs, also known as Pirates Confraternity, says it is working with its partners to ensure that the criminal justice system in the country functions properly. The group, which is pushing for a decongestion of the country's correctional centers, cited corruption as the major reason prisons in the country are facing serious congestion, adding that there are so many people languishing in custody for years without trial. President of the state's chapter of NAS expressed the need to examine the gap in the administration of criminal justice.
After this extensive deliberation, have found gaps, and some of the gaps include the near total corruption of the legal process in the country. We have also found gaps associated with the manner investigations are carried out by the Office of the DPP. We have also found gaps associated with the fact that the courts are too small, too few. The magistrates and the justices are just too few to examine these cases.
Representative of the state's Ministry of Justice noted that a lack of political will is one of the challenges facing the system. Other participants at the workshop called for more public awareness, setting up of a criminal division, effective cooperation between different stakeholders, and creation of criminal justice funds as part of ways to reform the criminal justice system in the country.
Section 34, sub 2. The magistrate subject to the approval of the chief judge shall designate for a division a minimum of 2 magistrates to conduct on a monthly basis an inspection of the police stations or other places of detention within his designated judicial division or other than the prison. During the visit, the magistrate inspect the records of arrest, direct the arraignment of a suspect, where bail has been refused, grant bail to a suspect where appropriate, if the offence of which the suspect is held is within the jurisdiction of the magistrate.
It is the lack of sanctions in society, the inability of the leadership to deliver this sanction. That is a problem, not only the people. I think Nigerians are good people. A lot of Nigerians, 98% of Nigerians are good people.
In order to witness recognizable reforms in the criminal justice system, there is need for more advocacy, public enlightenment, and a call to action.
There are times when there needs to be some processes of court to be served. To move the belief, you need to pay. Is it supposed to be? So, I really believe that it is the attitude of Nigerians towards our laws that is slowing us down. It is not the law itself.
The workshop brought to light several challenges facing some institutions, with a call to the agencies to ensure that the laws of the land are obeyed.
Welcome back. The senator representing Ogun Central, Ibikunle Amosun, on Wednesday described the ongoing registration and revalidation exercise of the All Progressive Congress APC as very necessary, saying those opposing the exercise may have ulterior motives. Former national chairman of the party, Adams Oshiomhole, former interim national chairman, Chief Bisi Akande, and the national leader, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had faulted the exercise and described it as unconstitutional. But Amosun, who participated in the exercise in his Itoko, Ward 6, Abeokuta South local government area on Wednesday, said he had been inundated with questions on the necessity of the revalidation exercise. He also called for calm among his supporters who alleged in some areas of the state that they were denied participation in the exercise.
Is this necessary? Yes. In fact, like yesterday, if you have anything maybe yesterday and you want to know where are we today, the best way of finding out is through what we are doing, unless people have any other ulterior motive. And I know that all of us are in sync with the fact that, yes, this thing is very necessary. Needless for me to say, even me, I have, when I was, the last time we did this, two of my children, they were not up to 18. Today they were 18, the two of them. They will have opportunity even to register. That is even me. And everybody can say things like that. And I know that there's a lot of benefits and advantages that we will get in doing this registration.
And of course, still in the news, former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode has denied leaving the People's Democratic Party, PDP. 3 days ago, Fani-Kayode had a meeting with Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello and the National Chairman of the APC, Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State, insisting that he only discussed the state of the nation. He says he would never compromise or jettison his core fundamental principle for any reason. And experts have decried the lack of nutrition security on implementing healthy foods for Nigerians. They said this at a webinar organized by the federal government in collaboration with the United Nations. Destiny Momo has more.
The webinar on Nigeria National Food System Dialogue is meant to acquaint journalists with the United Nations Food Systems Summit and to create a common understanding of food systems in the Nigerian context. The experts say nutrition education, dietary quality, environmental pressures, and climate change, among others, are the ripple effects of food system in Nigeria, which have been worsened by the effects of the COVID-19. UNICEF representative in Nigeria, Peter Hawkins, emphasizes on ensuring access to safe and nutritious food for all.
Children being underfed is a national issue. It's all over the country. There's some parts of the country where it's worse than others, but it's not just the children, it's also the mothers, especially pregnant and lactating mothers. It's important that they are well fed.
The summit is aimed at launching a bold new action to deliver progress on all the 17 Sustainable Development Goals.
The issue of epileptic food system comes to the fore as the experts clamor for affordability in order to reduce malnutrition and ensure good dietary quality.
It may be hard to buy that nutritious food, that balanced diet that you really need. And we saw some of the statistics on that. So that's a failing of the food system, and because people are vulnerable because of their poverty. But there can be other things that happen too, and let's bring those in.
As you all know, every individual has a role to play in our effort towards sustainable food systems. We are all stakeholders when it comes to food because of one simple reason. We are all, at least, consumers.
We believe that, or we understand that land conversion, biodiversity loss, contamination of freshwater and coastal ecosystems, freshwater consumption, greenhouse gas emissions, all of this contributes to environmental pressure.
Research has shown that there is available food to feed the world population of 7.8 billion people. However, more than 820 million people are still hungry. In all, experts agree that food should be produced responsibly and sustainably for equitable access to livelihood. Destiny Momo for Plus TV Africa.
Welcome back. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has confirmed 131 new cases of coronavirus in 21 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The total confirmed cases in the country now stands at 142,578. The health agency, while making the announcement via a report on its website, said 8 persons have also died of COVID-19 related complications in the country, as the death toll figure now hits 1,702. NCDC also confirmed the recovery and discharge of 839 patients in Lagos and the Imo states. And Ghana's parliament has shut down for at least 3 weeks over a surge in cases of COVID-19 among lawmakers and parliamentary staff. The Speaker of the House, Alban Bagbin, announced the legislature would be in recess until March 2nd to make way for disinfection and sanitization of the premises. At least 17 members of parliament and 151 supporting staff have been infected with the coronavirus, which had already forced lawmakers to limit their assembly meetings. The West African country has confirmed a total of 73,003 coronavirus cases, resulting in 482 deaths and over 65,000 recoveries. And Argentina has topped 2 million COVID-19 infections as the country scrambles to ramp up a vaccination program in a race against time to tame the virus ahead of the fast approaching Southern Hemisphere autumn. The Ministry of Health reported 7,739 new cases of coronavirus on Wednesday, bringing the total number of infections to over 2 million and 49,674 deaths. Argentina implemented a strict lockdown in March that lasted for months after dwindling effect and increasing frustration. Restrictions have since been eased, but a tally of data shows that daily infections more than doubled following the year-end holidays and during the austral summer. And now for news in other parts of Africa, humanitarian convoys have made way in the Central African Republic's capital, Bangui, after rebel groups losing ground to pro-government forces temporarily allowed passage. The Coalition of Patriots for Change, an alliance of 6 of the most powerful armed groups that have controlled 2/3 of the 8-year civil war, said in a statement, contacts and negotiations have taken place with humanitarian providers. According to the UN, the rebels are attempting to suffocate Bangui. Since the end of January, the regular army and its allies, Rwandan soldiers and Russian paramilitaries, have been carrying out a counter-offensive on National Roads 1 and 3 axes to allow the resumption of convoys. And Libyan Airlines has celebrated the resumption of flights between two of the country's most important cities, Tripoli and Benghazi, in an event mirroring the nation's steps towards reunification. The airline saw the arrival of its plane coming from Mitiga International Airport in Tripoli in the west to Benina International Airport in Benghazi in the east in the first steps towards unifying the country. The plane, which started its trip from Misrata Airport before passing through Mitiga Airport, was piloted by Captain Yahya Kadada on its flight to Benghazi and carried a delegation of officials from the Libyan Airlines Tripoli administration. The delegation included members of the company's board of directors and some directors of departments and offices who met up with their counterparts in Benghazi to complete the unification procedures at the administrative and financial level. Now, outside Africa, the Iranian nuclear scientist assassinated near Tehran in November was killed by a 1-ton gun smuggled into Iran in pieces by the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad. This is according to a report by the Jewish Chronicle, citing intelligence sources. The British Weekly said a team of more than 20 agents, including Israeli and Iranian nationals, carried out the ambush on scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh after 8 months of surveillance. Iranian media said Fakhrizadeh died in hospital after armed assassins gunned him down in his car. And people from multi-ethnic groups have joined in a protest march as others gathered across the country for the 6th straight day against the Myanmar military coup. The group was heard chanting and demanding for the release of their leaders, Aung San Suu Kyi and President Win Myint. The protests have been the largest in Myanmar in more than a decade, reviving memories of almost half a century of direct army rule, punctuated with bloody army crackdowns until the military began relinquishing some power in 2011. Haitian police have clashed with rock-hurling protesters in the capital, Port-au-Prince, amid street demonstrations against President Jovenel Moïse after his government retired 3 Supreme Court judges earmarked as his potential replacements. Police fired tear gas and shot in the air in an attempt to disperse pockets of protesters who pelted the security officials with rocks. The protesters also yelled, "Down with Sisson," a reference to the U.S. ambassador to Haiti, Michel Jean Sisson. Washington has also so far backed Moise's claim that he should step down in February 2022 after presidential elections are held this year. Now in some business news, Nigeria Customs Service Federal Operations Unit Zone C says it has intercepted 1,024 cartons of unregistered cold caps medicines imported from India into the country along the Ofosu-Benin Expressway without NAFDAC certification. Speaking while conducting newsmen around the warehouse, the controller, Yusuf Lawal, said his men also seized other smuggled items, including 1,046 bags of 50-kilogram foreign rice, second-hand clothing, and a Toyota Corolla 2018 model. The controller assured that the unit would continue to make sure smugglers sabotaging the nation's economy in the zone count their losses until they repent. Lawal said the total duty paid value of the seized items is almost over 869 million naira.
More worrisome and unconcerned to us as enforcement arm of the government is especially the interception of this medicament that is not licensed. It has no NAFDAC certificate. And if this thing goes to the wrong hand, the negative effect of this cannot be overemphasized. So, at this point, I would like to take a closer look at this. It's called caps. It's said to be manufactured, it's imported from India. And at the time of interception, it was not having any NAFDAC certification. Neither was it registered by NAFDAC. So that's why we had to bring it here for custody and for detention pending further investigation. And after all said and done, I think this item will be handed over to NAFDAC for further investigation, so that to unravel those behind the importation of these items.
And now in entertainment, the saga between popular disc jockey Florence Otedola, fondly referred to as DJ Cuppy, and Davido's aide Israel Afere has taken a new twist. Cuppy's lawyers, Babajide Koko and Co., have written Israel demanding he makes a public apology over his libelous statements against their client. Last month, via an Instagram post, Afere, who claims to be Davido's personal logistics manager, alleged that despite the commercial success of the 2019 hit song Gelato by DJ Cuppy and Zlatan, the disc jockey did not compensate Zlatan. He wrote, "Kudos to someone like Zlatan who took a bold step by flushing a full fake friend like Cuppy, who was just using his head all the time in the name of my Papa Otedola. Zlatan did a hit collabo with her, ordinary one kobo he did not see." End of quote. In the letter dated February 10, 2021, it is stated that there was no contractual breach between both singers. And now in sports news, Al Ahly is set to face Palmeiras this afternoon in the third-place final. Al Ahly was quite impressive against overwhelming European champions FC Bayern. FIFA legends Mascherano and Julius Caesar lauded the African club champions and spoke glowingly of the quality of Egyptian football. For Julius Caesar, former Brazil and Inter Milan goalkeeper, Al Ahly were brave against Bayern. They face Brazilian side Palmeiras today with the third place in the FIFA Club World Cup at stake. And that's the news at this hour. For more news updates, please follow us at Plus TV Africa on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. We'll be back later with more stories. I am Osao Ogbonwa, and thank you for watching.